In a previous video, we went through our money-making logic to try to break down current costs and incremental costs and to show what was most important as we scale our business and to really jump into costs at scale. In this video, I really want to try to give you a framework for how to work with costs at scale and mainly show you in theory just how powerful impact this can have on your business. Let's take a look. If we start with the same diagram as last time, with costs and customers, number of customers. As our business grows, we have fixed costs. We may hire a new office. We may do a new server farm. Our fixed costs will probably have stairs in them. But what we find is as those number of customers grow, we're also going to get this increasing amount of variable costs. So the trick when thinking about costs and what's really driving that in our business is to actually start breaking this down at different levels of business. Let me show you how to do that. We might be here today at 100 customers. And let's just call that 1 times current business. So what we actually want to do is we want to sit down with our CFO, with our CTO, and we want to have conversations, theoretical conversations, yes, but important conversations as what happens if we doubled current business? What happens if we 5x current business? What happens if we 10x current business? And we as a group, we want to sit down and we want to go through our cost schedules and we want to start making assumptions that we would expect these certain costs to rise. We would expect these sorts of costs to rise, these sorts of costs to rise, these sorts of costs to rise, and try to get a theoretical estimate of what your costs would be at different scales of business. And why is that important? This is important because actually margin is logarithmic. And I want to show that to you in another diagram. Take a look at this. If we change our perception of cost to margin now, if we look at margin against the same number of customers, what you'll actually find is the company, let's say, will have a break-even point at some time. Let's just say we're at break-even today at 1 times business. Our margin curve will look something like this, a logarithmic curve. So what that means is at 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, we will start to see different margin profiles. So if we were at break even today, 0% margin, at 2 times business, we might end up being at 20% margin. At 5 times business, we might be at 30% margin. At 10 times business, we might be at 35% margin. The economies at scale is diminishing. So we're trying to find the sweet spot of how we scale our business and how we build towards this. And this is important because as we have different price increases from price projects, along the years, you'll actually be able to then calculate that starting a client out at price index, say 100, and then lifting them at some point to price index at 10, as you're adding more and more customers along the way, that customer that you landed, that first customer, when he gets his first price increase, going from, 100 to 110, because you've added all these extra customers, you're going to actually see an exponential growth in your margin. Because of this logarithmic effect to margin. This is why it's so important to start breaking down your costs today and getting involved with the finance team now. At Willingness to Pay, we also have a certain framework for doing this with our core teams of our clients. Let's take a look at that in another video.